Hi, and welcome to Reality Check. I'm your host, Lou Meyer, and this week we're fortunate to have the Fine Arts Department from Nevada Union High School, Terry Baxter, John Slavonic, and David Arnold. Thanks for coming on, you guys. It's really nice to have you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
And we're here to celebrate another year of exhibitions of the students. So can you, it's going to have, well, why don't let you guys talk a little bit about it. So what are we looking forward to this year?
On the 25th of March, a Friday, we're having the an open exhibition of student work. There'll be an auction there. Also, we have an evening dinner there that we'll have as a fundraiser for the art department. It's our annual fundraiser, and it's very important in getting needed funds to the student work to be able to support what we do in the classroom.
And you have a wonderful program over there. I know that a lot of schools are being hammered by the economy, and there's a lot of concern about all that. But all the students that I know, and I know quite a few of your students that just love you guys and really enjoy the department. And something we talked about last year that I just like to, we spoke about earlier before the show, the collaborative effort between all the departments at NU. Like there's no mutual exclusivity. I remember when we were talking last year, if somebody in the photography class might be able to enhance their work through some other type of art, you'd pass them over to one of these guys and have them take a look at it. And those kinds of things. That's still in place and happening there, I guess.
Nevada Union is a great place to work. Teachers there are very supportive of each other and on all our efforts. Recently, we were just awarded a grant from the Chico State University, the Education Department, to be able to research a two-year program to research new best practices in art education, and we'll be collaborating with one of our science teachers at school to try to develop a special class for freshmen to help them become more attuned to the high school experience. And we're hoping to really build from that to develop other connections across the curriculum through developing of small learning communities at the campus. So it's really exciting.
It's amazing. Now, can students take art classes all through, like from freshman to senior year? Can they jump back and forth to the different courses?
Yeah, they can, from freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, excuse me, they can take any of our courses. We do have a sequence of courses that builds their skills, builds their understanding of how to proceed within our given disciplines. This new research that we'll be doing is really purposefully designed, or at this point anyway, to look at a variety of ways that we can reach individual students. So there's a good chance that maybe we will open each of our classes to the same student. So it wouldn't just be a drawing and painting class, but it'd be a drawing and painting class that leads to a photo class that then leads to a ceramics class that then comes back to drawing and painting that then goes back. So there's this cycle that would allow the student to investigate different ways of making visual art.
As well as looking at as art as a way of being in the world, as a way of approaching learning and knowledge and a discovery-based experience that we hope to research more theories on how that is how we can accomplish that and how we can foster that kind of thinking within our students and to get them to be more engaged in the experience of being in high school and beyond, turn them into lifelong learners.
When students graduate from NU, can they, it's not called an art degree, but would they, going through your guys' programs, would they be more inclined to be accepted at art colleges, do you think?
Oh, most definitely. We recently had a graduate, or he's graduating this year. Ben Gould received a scholarship at Kansas City Art Institute.
In Chicago.
And also the Chicago Art Institute.
Wow.
So,
I know he's a really nice guy.
Oh, great kid, great family. Last year, UCLA Art had 60 openings for their art program. Nevada Union got 3 of them. And 2 of them came through our program. Our students typically do very, very well when they apply to other schools. And a lot of them will come through our program, decide they'll go to a more comprehensive university system, and then they'll major in art. They will also go to art school out of our program. We bring art schools in to talk to the students. We take them to San Francisco to get their work reviewed by art schools, and they do very, very well. Go ahead.
But we certainly have, we've placed a number of students at the highest end. I had a student who recently graduated with an MFA from the Chicago Institute in Chicago. Yeah, one of the best art schools in the country, and she was one of 7 applicants, one of 7 accepted into the program of about 400 to 500 people apply every year. So we have a number of those kinds of students who we have in our program, but we also have across the board. We're open to all students, and we want to be able to have a positive experience to everyone, whether or not they're going to art school or they're going to go into auto mechanics or into forestry or whatever their idea, wherever they want to go, that they can be. We can help. We can engage them in learning. That's really what we're striving for, and partly what our research will be funded by this grant is to be able to better address the full range of students that we have in our school.
You know, the arts encompasses everything. You know, a well-rounded educated, but without making a big long song and dance about this, when my wife and I were deciding where to have our child go to school, we watched a number of videos and read a lot of books about it. And when it gets to the world leaders' kids and what they actually learn, the arts is at the top. It's language, arts, international communication, those kinds of things. The arts is one of the top 3 things to learn, you know, and like you said, whether they're going to use it or not, it's important to understand it. An appreciation for the arts and grand masters and all the different prospects. So, that said, can we talk a little bit about each one of your departments and just what the students get out of your department?
Sure, I'll go ahead and start. I teach drawing and painting, and like David was saying, the purpose of the drawing and painting class is for all students. One of the funny questions or statements that I'll get all the time is, I'd really like to take your class, but I don't know how to draw. Well, which, you know, in my mind it's like saying, I'd really like to take Spanish, but I don't know any Spanish. You know, of course, that's fine. That's why you come in. It's not a class, and our department is not a department for those who are necessarily already doing. I think we take a great deal of pride in what we do in terms of, if you're an absolute beginner, you'll have just as much fun and you'll learn just as much as if you are an advanced person. We pride ourselves in being able to reach both at the same time. So drawing and painting, that's what we do. We draw and paint. And there's beginning, intermediate, and advanced. And John.
What I do is it's 3-dimensional. It's 3-dimensional art. And it can be very challenging for anyone to make something which exists in actual space. So I teach ceramics. I teach functional pottery, and so students learn how to make functional pottery. That's one of the goals of the class, is to do that, and also to make non-functional art, ceramic sculpture. But the irony is that even though it's non-functional art, but it functions as art. And so the class is very hands-on. It's very physical, very kinesthetic, and the goal. Another goal of the class is basically very simple: to create art out of earth. Because basically everything that we work with in the classroom is mined from the earth, and so it not only does the student get something out of the pride of accomplishment out of making something out of earth, but you know, I mean, for example, there's been proof that gardeners actually lead a healthy, happy, long life, and it has something to do with something that's in the earth. And I think the same kind of thing is happens when you have contact with clay. It also has this rich historical a history to it. You know, people have been fashioning objects out of clay for centuries, and so when a kid gets their hands on the clay, they become part of humanity. And I think just that gives them a sense. Just that gives them a sense of place in the world.
David?
I'm the photography instructor at Nevada Union, and we work with all manner of photographic equipment, trying to get having students be able to understand the basics of it's an art class. It's not a commercial photography class. They're using trying to use cameras and software as a way to inform their expression using different types of imagery. And it's the students. We have a full dark room, so they have the experience of working with the traditional film-based materials as well as working with the latest software. We run Photoshop and work with digital cameras and students. And we also have a lighting studio, so students get an opportunity to work with lighting portraits and experiencing all those things about photography.
There's a lot to learn about each one of you guys' subjects. It's phenomenal to me just how much is available out there now. And when you mention like the digital photography and then being able to manipulate things with software, it's almost mind-boggling how much you can change, I think. There's an art show going on at Sierra College right now where they have all the different types of art, but not so much sculpture this year, which I was kind of surprised. But to see the different ways that photography is used in art is amazing. It's way beyond just like Andrew Wyeth, way beyond. Amazing. So I know we need to. Let's mention again now. So this art show, it's March 25th at the Miners Foundry from 5 to 9. The dinner seating at 6:30. There's also a 4:30 to 6:30 event at the Nevada City Winery. For those who would like to sample wines, and I think they're going to be at the Miners Foundry as well. Uh-huh. And Blake Seven will be performing at the show, a silent auction exhibition of the students' work. Now, the silent auction, that means that people can make bids on the work. And the exhibition will be open from Wednesday, starting Wednesday afternoon, and through the closing of the exhibition, which will be we usually close the bidding out about 8:30 on Friday evening. And it's a real good opportunity to see the broad range of work that comes through the Nevada Union Art Department. We're very proud of what students are able to accomplish and have and be able to show it to the community. And do the students have to submit work to you, and then you decide? I mean, it's probably way too much art to do in one show. They submit to you, and you pick what you consider to be the best.
They donate work, and it's a huge deal for a lot of these kids. You know, they put so much into something, and then to donate it for the auction, it's a big deal, and it gives them an opportunity to see their work out of the context of the classroom, which is very cool because you see it in a different space.
You also see other people's reactions to your art rather than just the other students.
And it's an event. It's a very social event for students to come to this, and their peers come to it, and they can look at each other's work.
Yeah, I mentioned I take a couple art classes at Sierra College, and I mentioned this to all my classes. Please support this. It's really wonderful. There with the microphone. Sorry, you guys.
There's a broad range of work too, and scale of work. This year, through an amazing donation from Caseywood, we have over 200 of these little tiny canvases. Mm-hmm. And so for the drawing and painting, what we're going to do is try and put up as many of those as we can, which is a super interesting format for us, and the students have really responded well to working on a very minor scale of 2-inch by 2-inch squares. So it'll be, for us, a pretty exciting thing, again, to see the variety between clay photography, traditional photography, as well as Photoshop work, small scale paintings, larger scale. It's
pretty all-encompassing, really.
And it's the one time that the county, in an easy way, is kind of invited in to see what happens. Meaning the product of their kids, our students,
Here's what they're able to create.
and to see, and it's a fun thing. As a
And we
matter
have
of
some
fact,
slides
I was just-
that David had brought in that we should take a look at, and we'll keep the mics up so you guys can talk a little bit about what we're watching here. And so the demo for the arts department here. I recognize that guy on the right. I used to date his sister. Actually.
So these are images that were taken by Nevada Union students and Alexi Wardell and Sarah Lowe, and they were. This will be part of a slideshow that will be shown at the Miners Foundry, and it also gives you an idea of what a different look into a day in the life at Nevada Union Art Department.
So go ahead
to
and
the next slide.
Yeah.
This typical painting, we use recycled paper or cardboard for our palettes, and put a little bit of paint on the palette and then paint from there. Just a student going to work. I think it's Gabby actually starting her work. So
Next slide.
Next slide.
some very well used brushes. We use acrylic paints. And charcoal or graphite to draw with, but acrylic paints for our paintings.
This is a shot in the ceramics room. The sculpture, which is in the foreground, was made by Tyler Lima. This is a non-objective sculpture. Recently, she completed a large-scale piece, nearly 5 feet high, that she donated to the library. So if you're on the NU campus, you go to the library, you can see this piece.
Wow.
And here are some students. We're having a little critique here of some projects that were made using slabs of clay. The assignment was make a hydrodynamic form which floats in water using slabs of clay. So you see just there's this connection with science, because it's all about the ratio of the thickness of the clay to the volume.
And those are some ideas that we want to be able to enlarge upon through our collaboration with the science department. Be able to,
And that's what the grant is all about. Is
yeah,
being
to
able
be
to work with the
able
science
to
department.
research new ideas.
It's great that you're spanning that gap there, which doesn't even really exist anyway. The gap, it's
Right.
like all sciences are art.
Yeah.
So, you were.
It's another shot of those hydrodynamic forms, which were based on initial sculptures of a chosen fish. So, for example, if a student chose a barracuda, they make a sculpture of a barracuda, and then they make an object which floats in water, which is an abstraction of the barracuda. So they might end up making something that looks like a submarine.
And this is showing. This is face paint day in the photo room, and all of our computers have a camera on them, so they can also use those to make. Using it here kind of as a mirror to put on face paint. The idea was to come up with a portrait using face paint. Here's some of the students in the studio working with the different face painting techniques and trying to use it to work with color and also with portraiture.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lid that somebody's using as a palette for acrylic paint. Some of the things we'll do with the acrylic paint is use a series of washes to build over a drawing to develop some kind of depth of color, also a visual mixing of color, so that your eye does the mixing, not actually your brush and paint. And we can go to the next slide. Looks like you, Dave.
I think that's in there. They're looking. We use a lot of recycled magazines and newspapers, both in the photography and in the painting and drawing. Doing up torn and collage, photo collage work in many ways is really important. It's just showing some of our computers here, the mouse there, and also we're seeing students working on editing a project in Photoshop here. And this is another student from our face paint day.
There we are, digging through our paints. You can see some of the work. What some people may not realize is the way the room looks, and this is a pretty good indication of the way our room looks. It's a studio space. It's meant to be a space where students are active and visual and not necessarily being linear. So you can see up on the walls there's several paintings. We will paint right over a past painting or mural. We just had a massive Gandhi painting in literally just his face that was about 5-6 feet tall, and somebody just painted over it to do a piece, and did she receive flack about that? But that's what the purpose of the room is. The purpose of the room is to experiment for self-expression and to try things. And if we are graced with enough paint to work on a large scale, that's what we'll do.
Gandhi, if anybody, would appreciate the impermanence of
That actually came up in the discussion. This is a piece that was done and talking about collaboration between the departments, this is a piece done by a student of mine in drawing and painting, and she took a large scale, probably about 7 or 8 foot tall painting, turned it around, and actually she had painted over a previous painting on the canvas side, in order to use our materials wisely and to stretch our materials. For this piece, what she did is she turned around and used the back side. And she did a full body cast of herself using plaster and strips of gauze. And she created a self-portrait where the top of it, her arms and shoulders kind of flew off into a wing form with chicken wire. And the cast of her body actually came off of the surface of the canvas. And so it's this full-scale self-portrait she did of herself, cast in plaster, but it's in a drawing and painting class. She answered...
creative students, I
yeah,
have to say.
and that's, I think we present our projects in the way of problems to be solved, and we feel confident enough that we can cover technique, cover content of art history or whatever by presenting the problems, and then we get to work with our students individually. And I think that's a great indication where it's really more of a sculptural answer, but not.
And the paints are quite, they build up, and creating, those build-ups of paint are oftentimes where it's dried on the counters, are oftentimes recycled and used in different artwork.
Yeah, all the time. Students will, if they ever start peeling it off of plastic, you know how paint will peel, they'll peel it and they go, I like, and actually there's a local musician, Neil Morgan, a drummer. Sure. And Neil used to do these very representational, this is a long time ago, but he used to do these very representational paintings. And then he would peel off paint, and he called them his chunk paintings. And then he'd glue the paint on right over the top. And that's pretty much the tradition of the school. This is Sean Anderson, who's a freshman, who's an athlete and a wonderful student, and he's working on a piece there where he's taking a photo image, but from the photo image he's going to make a painting. And for him, the photo image is not the goal. That's where he's going to step from to make his painting. And in fact,
a guideline or something.
Exactly. So again, working kind of across the disciplines.
This is a portrait taken by Savannah Farrell of Vicky Krog. Both of them have been in photography for 4 years. They're graduating seniors, and this is a portrait done Victoria on face painting day, and so it's really both of them have they're going to go. Victoria's probably going to. She was accepted to. We're talking about where our students end up and where they go. She was recently accepted to the Rochester Institute, and will be studying photography there, photojournalism.
That's wonderful.
And this is a shot looking in the photo department photo studio, lighting studio, with all our different cameras and lights. And we have a project in the third quarter where they work with varied poses. It's called, where they do different, working with different light setups to to show, just how important light is in portraiture, and they get an opportunity to really work with the equipment and inside when the weather's bad.
What an amazing department, you guys. This is wonderful. Well, I wish I had that one. I went to Catholic schools. We weren't allowed to do art. I'm kidding, right? We didn't have an art class. You had to do it extracurricularly. So just to sum up now, again, we're looking forward to March 25th at the Miners Foundry from 5 to 9. Dinner seating at 6:30. From 4:30 to 6:30 at the Nevada City Winery. There's a wine tasting. Blake Severn will be performing at the event. The art will be up for review Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Correct.
Previous to the event, and there'll be a silent auction and exhibition of the students' artwork.
And tickets can be purchased online at the Margaret Arnold Gallery, and also students are also selling, and parents are also selling tickets in the community. So, or give us a call.
Easily enough to get
at
tickets.
the high school. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want, follow-up stuff, or anything you want to say?
Well, it's being catered by In the Kitchen.
Oh, great.
Very good catering
Wendy
company.
Wagner,
Yeah,
in the
excellent
kitchen.
food.
It'll be a third year that we've worked with Wendy. She does a wonderful dinner, and highly recommend.
Oh, great. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. This is wonderful. I'm happy to have you back again next year, or anytime any special events are happening at the school. Give me a call if you can't come on the show. Just let me know, and I'll let folks know that it's happening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thanks for having us, Lou.
Thanks again to the community for supporting Nevada Union. It's a great school, and as you can see, the best of the arts. Thanks for watching Reality Check. If you or anybody else might be a good guest for me, you can contact me at loumeyer@nccn.net, and we'll see if we can get you on the show. And I hope to see you at the art show.
The Center for the Arts in downtown Grass Valley is a multi-use space. We went to the One Stop in search for a new employee, someone who could help us with the facilities and work directly with our facilities manager. We're so lucky to have found this person. He's been an invaluable resource for us. One Stop's been terrific to work with, and he takes great pride in his work.
We've gotten bigger as we've expanded through the western United States, and the One Stop has supplied us with entry-level employees with skill sets that we could not find out in the open market without interviewing for weeks.
Our business, Help at Home Senior Care, provides non-medical in-home care for the elderly. The One Stop Career Center has helped us recruit qualified caregivers to help them in their home. We encourage other companies to take advantage of the One Stop Career Center. It's really helped our business.
No! Come on! Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.